Hi friends, welcome to Tutors Funny channel. In our last class, we have completed the database creation part. So we have folder architecture, how to create the folder architecture, all things we have discussed about our last video. Let's continue the video. First, we have created a database successfully. Inside the database, we have to create the tables. Table creation we have done by the entities. So here we have to implement the schema, database schema. So select the entity folder, new Java class. You have to create the class which is a first one is a student, which is a class. First class I'm going to get the English student. Okay, student class. You have to implement the annotation which is a entity. Okay. Second one, what you're going to do is you have to create a table. You have to table annotation. You have to write the table annotation. You get table annotation. You have to write it over here. Name, we have a table which is a student. This table name which is created by the database. So here we have to implement the columns. What are the columns we need? So we need to implement the private int student ID, private string student name. After that, what are the things we are going to do? Address and phone number. So how many things you need, you can implement this. Okay, we need only student name, address, after that phone number. Okay, we have need a phone number. Okay, so we have a need a phone number. So phone number also I'm not going to do any validation part so that I have to keep as a string. If you need an integer, you can implement the integer, no problem. Okay, that's the thing you have to write it. Now what I'm going to do is here I'm going to do the database validation part. So student ID, which is we have implemented as a primary key. In Spring Boot, all things are work as a annotation base. So this is the entity class. You have the annotation. This is a table where it will be going to create in the database student. So there is an annotation table. So here we have to create the primary key. ID, which is the primary key. You have to add the annotation, which is ID. It's there. Okay, it's there. Second one, we have to generate the auto generate value. So how to generate the auto generate value? You have to write it as generate value. We have to write over here stat j. Here you have to write a generate auto. You have to implement this one. After that, we have to add the columns. So columns, you have column. You have to write a column which name is, first one is a name equal. This one should be student ID. You have to write student ID. You have to write this one. This is the API. This is the column which will be created at the database. The length we have given, length, you have to write it over here, 11. Okay. So after that, the same thing, just copied and paste it over here. Here we have to write second column. I'm going to create as a student name. So the same thing, just copy and paste it over here. Here we have to write it over here, student name like this. This one should be, you have to make it as 45 characters length. Third one is the address. This also you have to make it as a 60 length. You have to make 60. Here you have to make it as the same thing. You have to address. Third column, copy this, paste it over here. This one should be the phone number. Okay, here this one also you have to get 12 length. So just give us. That's it. The simple stuff you have to create the entity. Okay, so if you have created, it's not getting the values. We have to add the constructor and get and set method and everything you have to edit over here. This entity class. So how to implement that here? Right click, generate constructor. First we have to create a constructor as blank constructor. Second constructor I'm going to create as, which is a parameter is constructor. Select all the values. Hold on the shift key down and select all. Click OK. Third one I'm going to create as, right click, generate constructor, get rid of the ID, rest of the field you have to select them, select on OK. Right. After that, I'm going to generate the get and set method. Select this one, right click, generate get and set method. Select all the shift key down, select all the properties, click OK. all things are selected, get and set method. The final one, you have to implement the string variable, right click, generate toString method, you have to implement all the properties. That's the thing you have to write. Simply, we have to create the table architecture. This is how we have create the table architecture. Simple. Okay, very simple. This is how we have to implement the table architecture. I hope you can understand this. Very simple. Now, what you're going to do is, I want to run the code. You can check it here. Stop and run it. Rerun it. Whether it's all the things are created successfully or not. Here you can see. Here you can see here the table creation. The table is creation here. Student table. If it is here, if you want to create a table here, it's created here. Student ID. So phone number, student name. This all things are created by this name. Here it's creating here. All the things are, it will be SQL part. All things are, it will be created here. You can see here. Here's your database. You have to refresh them. Here your student table has been created. Perfect. You have done the work. Perfect. You have done the perfect job. Now what you're going to do is third job. I'm going to go to the DTO. What is the meaning of DTO? It is nothing but the data from the API request. The values are coming via the DTO format. Values coming via the DTO format. So we have to implement the DTO. So how to implement the DTO? Here, what you're going to do is you select the package which is a DTO. Right click, new Java class. Here, I'll write it here, student DTO. Click on this. This is the class. Okay, this is a class. Okay, this class we have to do the thing is we no need to implement the get and set method. Instead of we have to write it a Lombok libraries. Okay, so here the first thing what you are going to do is go to the entity folder which is a student. So all the things you have just copy, paste it inside the DTO. Here the only we need a API, student ID, student name, address. These are all the API values we needed. The column, this one, the database name, this column which will be created the database here. ID, phone number, this all things are created the same name. This name. Okay, at the moment we need only the RESTful API only. This we have value should be passing to the data via the front end. This format. Student ID, student name, address, and phone number. Okay. Okay. This is the when you view the records, we are using this DTO. When you save the record, right click new Java class, you write student save DTO. Okay. Now save DTO. We just copy this, paste it over here. These values only we need which one? ID now we no need because ID we are using the auto increment part. So we no need the ID, only we keep rest of the fields. So we have a student name, address, and phone number. That's it. Okay, perfect. After that, what you're going to do is we have to do the update DTO as well. Right click new Java class student update DTO. Okay, so here I need all the values. When you update the record, we need a ID as well. So we have to write a ID as well. That's it. That's the thing you have to write. Perfect. Right, we have created the DTO format perfectly well. Okay, so we have understand that how to create a DTO. Okay, right. Now from the front end, values are coming through via DTO format. These values are first you are sending to via which is a controller. So if you are not understand the SpringBoot architecture, I have a video how the layers are working of the controllers, how the flow is working. First you must understand that, right? The data via the data is coming this format. When you save the data, this format data is coming. It is passing to the controller. So right click new. I'm going to create a controller which is a student controller. Okay, this is student controller. Okay, student controller. Student controller, what I'm going to do is here, I'm going to implement the annotations. So before that, I have forgotten one thing. Go to the DTO. So here you can see you have implement the constructor and get and set method and everything. So here we are not doing anything else. Okay, so we have to implement like this way. You have to implement parameters constructor, non-parameters constructor, get and set method, string method. Instead of that, we have to implement simply we we have to download and install the dependency which is a Lombok. Here, so Lombok. The Lombok we have a all the libraries is there. So you have to implement this here at you have right here constructor. So here no parameters constructor. So you have to write it here uh, data. So data which is a data. Okay, so it's data. Second one you have to implement it here is all large constructor. All large constructor. Third one should be the no large constructor. No large constructor. Okay, this one we have created all the constructor. This is the no arch arguments mean this is the no arch constructor means that without argument. So this constructor, which is a blank constructor. I already showed you the blank constructor, which will be implemented over here. Data mean this is the data. Which data? Get and set method. These are all the things which will be take care of this one, this annotation. That's it. So this three annotation is just copied and paste it here as well, and update as well. That is the thing you have to do it. Now you successfully implement the DTO formats. Right. Now let's go to the controller stuff. Controller, I'm going to implement the things. So what are things I'm going to implement over here? First, you have to make the RESTful controller. You have to make it as a RESTful controller. So how to make the RESTful controller? You have to write REST controller. Second one, you have to implement the cross-origin, which will be handling the database, which will be communicating the front end. If you have a Angular or Vue or React, you have a communicate with this. We need this cross-origin. Okay. So the request is coming from which origin? You have to tell them the port where it is coming. Okay. So this is a REST control because all the things that we are doing the REST API. So after that, you have to implement the request mapping. This is how the URL is implemented, request mapping. So you have to implement the URL in the standard way. You have to write API / v1, which is nothing but the version. You have to write the student. If the URL is coming student, okay, it's goes to the student API. Okay, that's the thing you have to do it. I hope you have understand so far well. Okay, right. Now what you're going to do is, I'm going to go to do the things here. Another you have handling another one is a services and service INPL. So here we have to go to here the service, right click, you have to do the which is a class. The first one is a student service present key. Okay, so it's created. Inside the service, you have to create another package, which is the IMPL, which is a implementation. Here we have to write a new, sorry, this is not a class. We have to delete them. Sorry. Again, I'm going to create this one. Select the service here. Right click new, class student service, which is interface. You click on this, interface is created. So interface. Let's click interface. So IMPL, so you have the IMPL. So inside the IMPL for the here we have to remove them. We have a simple stuff. Right. We have to create another. There is service. I'm going to create another class which is a student service. Now we have to understand which is a interface. Okay. select the package again, right click new. I'm going to create a package with IMPL. Inside IMPL, you have to write student service IMPL. That's a class. This is the interface, this is the class. That's it. Okay, right? So this one we have to repo, we have to create the this one also the interface. We have to write a student repo. Right. That's it. Now all the things are we have done. All the files are we have created successfully. I hope you guys you have understood so far well. Okay, what's the first one? You have to create the controller. After that, controller will be passing the data to where service. So that we have we have created the file service. Service we have created two different files. One is a service, another one is a IMPL, student IMPL. Here this is just an interface. The implementation part is where here student service. Okay. So all the query management which done by here when you add the data to the database, there is a layer called repo. Here where we have to add the database query, insert into student data, insert into student table, what are the columns data is coming from the front end, all things are, we have to write the code. Here this repo, where the repo, there is a layer called JPA repository. Okay, this is all the stuff we have to discuss about my next video tutorial. I hope you have clear understand of this tutorial well, how the implementation works. Okay, you go through this one. Okay, how the process work. We have created the entity and DTOs and control this all thing. You just simply you make the revision. Then only we have simply you have to understand the Spring Boot architecture and do the project well. Thank you for watching.